first session today is Naveen Jain. Naveen is CEO, Transorg Analytics. He's a tenured industry leader with over 25 years of leadership experience in analytics and product development. He has led a team of 100 covering over 20 plus international market in his previous role as VP at American Express. Naveen is an alumnus of Delhi College of Engineering and IIT Ghaziabad. Welcome, Naveen.
Thank you. Thanks, Anju.
Welcome to the webinar.
Thank you so much. Thanks for those kind words. And good morning to all of you. I know it's Saturday morning, and it's a holiday for a lot of people. So thank you for taking out time to listen to me and understand what data science means and what kind of and which kind of careers one can develop in the field of data science. So what I'll do today is speak around three topics. One, I will try to explain what is data science, and secondly, who's a data scientist. If you're trying to make your career in data science, what are the skills required? What is that you need to do to join corporate in the field of data science and artificial intelligence? And then I'll talk about some emerging trends, especially COVID with COVID-19. There are certain things which have changed about data science, so I'll touch upon that. So I'll speak through about 25-30 minutes or so, and then if you have any questions, you can type your questions in the question box, and then of course Anju will unmute the phone and unmute the webinar, and then you can ask questions through voice call as well. So let me first start with explaining what is data science. So data science is nothing but where you're trying to build stories, you're trying to generate insights out of data. In the past, we used to use data using Excel or calculators or whatever. Those were the tools and softwares to analyze data and generate insights for the business. And what analytics meant to a lot of people was that we are generating some reports, some charts, but that exactly has changed completely. With the deluge of data, there's so much of data which is being generated and stored in a very economical way. With so much of data around us, it has become possible for us to analyze live data, real data, huge amounts of data, structured and unstructured data. When I say unstructured data, it means even the conversations, even what people are typing on the social media pages, the kind of feedback they're giving in terms of words and sentences, that is unstructured data. So you can generate insights using both structured as well as unstructured data. Now, if you look at different sectors, be it aviation, travel, retail, banking, all of these companies use data science to generate insights, to generate meaningful business insights, to take business decisions. And increasingly, the world is moving towards analyzing more and more real-time data. It's not that you're giving a report which is 1 month old, 2 month old, but it is like, as of now, what's happening with the consumers? What are they talking about? What is that? What is my business performance? Then if there is a continuous streaming of data, and that is being analyzed by data scientists. So who's a data scientist? So data scientist, there's a lot of definition which is available in the net, and somebody says, this is the hottest job right now and job of the 21st century. But who's a data scientist? So one, you will find mostly the definition that data scientist is a confluence or a combination of 3 skills. One, the data scientist has to have experience of computer science or some coding experience. We use Python and R and a lot of tools which are being used to manipulate and analyze the data. Number 2, understanding the mathematics, especially statistics and advanced mathematics. And number 3, business skills. So this is a combination of these 3 is really what makes a good data scientist. And when I say coding and the computer science experience, so that is not required to the extent of a software engineer. What you need surely is orientation to Python and some of those languages. And the coding as a data scientist, what we do is not at the highest level. For instance, I got a question that I'm a CA, can I become a data scientist? Of course you can. It's not that it's going to be highest level of Python coding or something of that sort. You can become a data scientist even if you're an economics graduate, arts graduate, mathematics graduate, engineers. You can all become data scientists. So what is required is the problem solving skills. So that is, to me, is the most important. When we recruit at Transorg Analytics, we look at the problem solving skills of people. So when I say problem solving skills, if you have some data and customer is struggling, saying that my customers are attriting, or I need to improve the overall revenue per customer, or I'm facing a lot of fraud and default on my loans. Can you find out and predict using my data? So all of that can be done using data science, using these different tools. First, you have to understand the client's business problem. What people do is they straight away get into modeling, straight away get into data science, start creating models and segmentation and what have you. What is important is to understand first the client's problem and then convert that business problem into an analytical problem, or how you can solve it with the help of data analysis and analytics. And data science, analytics, predictive intelligence, machine learning, AI, those to me are very similar in nature. These are all different terminologies and ways to explain data science. To me, all is data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning. So one, of course, you work with a lot of data to build predictive models, you predict consumer behaviors. But at the same time, there are a lot of new use cases which have come in the past using deep learning and artificial intelligence, where you're trying to analyze the images, you're trying to analyze videos, you're trying to read through the documents using Python codes or bots, or there's a conversational AI which has come into picture. You can convert speech to text and analyze using natural language processing, or as NLP we call it. So to summarize, a data scientist is somebody who, of course, has those three skills of first and foremost, mathematical problem solving skills. And of course, as tools, you need mathematical skills, you need some bit of a coding, and the most important thing is business skills. So if you don't understand client's problem, if you don't understand client's challenges and opportunities, you can't be a good data scientist. So this is really, in a nutshell, what is data science, who is a data scientist, and then I will touch upon how organizations are using data science. One is companies have different kinds of streams. So one is customer and marketing analytics, where we are trying to predict consumer behaviors. What would they buy? What can be the next best offer? What can I cross-sell to my customers? What can I do to prevent attrition of my customers? So that's customer engagement, retention, marketing. Especially in the banking sector, financial service sector, insurance, there is a lot of modeling which happens around underwriting and risk management, where if you're giving a loan to a customer, then you have to understand whether the customer will pay back the loan or time or not. So then you get into probability of default models. Then there is, especially post-COVID, there is a higher instance of fraud. The fraud has increased. So how you can find out from the data, how can you identify anomalous trends in the data to understand fraud and predict fraud before a big damage has happened. So those are some of the use cases which have become extremely important for the organizations. And besides that, as I mentioned earlier, people are finding now all the companies have cost pressures. There is a job loss, there is a business loss. So to optimally utilize your money, to optimally utilize your marketing spend, brand spend, operational spend, there's different kind of spending which happens in an organization. So how do I optimize using data science? If I have $100 or 100 rupees to spend, how do I get the maximum return on investment on the investment I make? So organizations across sectors are at different levels of maturity. I used to work with a credit card company American multinational. So definitely those guys were way ahead in the data science. That was the need, and they invented data science 20, 25 years ago. But now, and banking, financial services, retail typically were ahead of the curve. Now, new manufacturing sector, aviation, travel, new sectors have come up. OTTs, all these OTTs like Netflix and all has been using data science for a very long time. But new OTT players are now are using data science to predict and understand consumer behaviors. As I said, companies are at different levels of maturity, and what companies need to do is to start with descriptive analysis. So there is a continuum of analytics. So one needs to first understand the data, get the data together, create a data mart or a data lake, whatever you may want to call it, and then use that data to do some descriptive analysis and dashboards. That is not pure data science, but extremely important, because unless you visualize your data, you get your data at one place, you can't reach to predictive modeling and data science level. So once you have done the descriptive analysis, created dashboards, you understand what the data is, there's a lot of data cleaning which is required. So then hence the role of a data engineer. So we, for instance, at Transorg Analytics have data engineers also as part of our organization. So data engineers and data scientists are slightly different in a manner of speaking, that data engineers focus a lot on getting the data at one place, cleaning the data, creating data lakes, data warehouses, and make the data ready for analysts and data scientists. And that's when data scientists take over and they start utilizing that data for their predictive modeling work and that kind of stuff. So that is the distinction between data engineering and data science. So coming back to my level of maturity of the organization, so companies start with descriptive dashboards, and then they slowly move to more high-end predictive modeling and prescriptive analysis, where you start recommending things. So for instance, big e-commerce players have a lot of recommendation engines running in the back end, and which is all driven by machine learning algorithms. So companies are using across sectors data science for different purposes to solve different kind of business problems. It's not that everybody has while customer engagement and increasing customer revenues and finding areas where if I make an effort, I can prevent attrition of my customer is a universal problem. Every company has to retain their customers, be it an airline or a retail company or a banking company. So everybody has to focus on that. So a lot of transportation of knowledge and experience from one industry can benefit other industries. Some industries have been ahead of the game. Companies which are just getting into the data science and machine learning areas, they can learn a lot from those skills. So what I have covered right now till now is who is a data scientist, what does data science means, and what does data science means to these companies and these sectors, what kind of problems they are trying to solve for. Now, the question which I got before the webinar is that how do I become a data scientist? What kind of skills I need? If I am not an engineer, can I still become a data scientist? So now in the next few minutes, I'm going to talk about what is that you need to do with as data scientist. So first, a number of universities and colleges cover data science programs in their curriculum, be it an engineering curriculum, economics, more so around that curriculum, but there are certain courses in their curriculum, probably they don't cover data science and data engineering kind of courses. So there is a lot of material which is available on the web. So you search data science, you will find a lot of data science videos, AI videos. So a lot of videos can come in and you can learn from those videos as well. Having said this, all this courses, be it at a university level, at a college level, online courses which are available are a bit theoretical in nature. I'm not saying they are bad, they're good, and it gives you a starting point and a base to start from in data science. So all those channels are good to get some basic understanding about data science, get theoretical idea. Some courses may cover statistics as well, some courses will cover basics of Python. So that will set up your theoretical base. What is important is to understand the practical aspects of data science. So just the theory won't help. Either you get into some internships with companies which are using data science so that you get to work on the practical problems using practical data. For example, I was talking to a student from a university, and the student says, we have a very involved data science program. And then what he said that we are analyzing the data of US traffic movements. So how will that help? US traffic movement, you can't relate to it in the Indian context, or it's like a hypothetical problem, hypothetical data. You don't understand the business behind it. So what is extremely important is to get the feel of the business, understand the client's problem, understand the data, and try to work with the real data and a real problem. So for that, you have to seek internships in companies which are using data science in a big way. Number two, you can join such programs where there is a practical experience around data science. So see whatever works with you. It's not that the courses which are on the web or universities are bad. It's just that what works with you. The idea is to do some practical project. You can reach out to some companies that I have studied this program. Can I get some practical experience? I'm ready to do a pilot for you. I may not charge. You can act as an independent consultant as well. So those are some avenues available to you uh, to get that practical knowledge and a practical experience. Extremely important, especially in COVID era, post-COVID. I won't even call it post-COVID. COVID is still going on, and it's created a havoc on the economy and business, and lives of people is impacted. Suddenly, the use cases in data sciences have changed. Companies want to do same work using less number of people. So for that, you need to use artificial intelligence tool. You have to be able to analyze using videos, looking at videos, or analyzing, doing video analytics or image recognition, that what is that people are doing in my store? What is that? Is somebody wearing a helmet on the shop floor or not? So you can analyze the videos and images to analyze the data. You can pull out data from the documents rather than manually going through the documents. So the new use cases have come. The world is moving towards more optimization and automation. While there has been a lot of good use cases on cross-selling, next best offer, but in today's time, at least in the next 6 months to an year, the focus is going to be more on automation, more on optimizing my cost. There is a concept of market mix modeling or media modeling. What it means that if I'm spending on TV, digital ads, social media, how do I analyze my 100 rupees and $100, whatever I'm spending, and get the maximum return on my investments and maximum benefit and increase in my sales and revenues using that uh, money. So what companies are facing right now, there are reduced sales pipelines, customers are not coming back, there is an increased on fraud, there are cash flow pressures, there is operations optimization which is required, supply chain has broken due to some differences in different countries. What we have been reading in the media, supply chains was badly impacted. On top of COVID, there are a lot of issues around that. So all of this is becoming extremely difficult for companies to operate upon. And at this time, it makes even a lot more sense to use your data. Data is fuel. And there's been a lot of articles and talk about the fact that companies who are the market leaders, companies which are doing well, are the companies who are leveraging their data in an efficient manner. And they stand out. They are the market leaders. They stand out because they have realized that data is the new oil. And if we don't use data effectively, then we are going to lose out in the game. So what I'll do, I'll take a pause here, and we'll be happy to take questions. You can put questions on the text box, or I will request Anju to unmute and let it be an interactive session. I don't want to go on and go on and make it a monologue. I would love to interact. Extremely important to interact with all of you to understand what your questions are, and then I'll be happy to answer those. Anju, do you have any questions? I think I was getting muted, so I've unmuted myself.
Yes,
Good evening.
yes, Naveen, I have unmuted all the participants.
Okay.
I think few people have questions here. Yes, Raghav, you can ask your question.
Please go ahead,
Sir,
Rahul. What is your question?
sir, I want to ask one question that what is the roadmap if we want to learn data science? What is the roadmap from scratch? Can you tell us from scratch, please?
Sure. And Rahul, what is that you're studying right now? Or have you passed out from the college?
No, no, sir. Sir, currently, sir, I am pursuing my BTech from Thapar University, and right now I am completing my third year.
Okay, okay. No problems. So one, if I Rahul has asked a very question that what should be the roadmap to become a data scientist? So one is to first read about them. There are, to me, start with what are the use cases of data science. You should get into something where you understand how and why data science is used. So understand the business use cases. So how airline would use a data science, how retail company and a credit card company is using data science. So start with that. There is a very good book called Competing on Analytics by Thomas Davenport, which gives a very high level view of how companies are using data science. So once you have understand the business use case of the data science, then you have to collect the toolkit. So as a toolkit, what you need is you need to understand the data structures, that how data is organized. So you have to understand the basics of SQL or Python and some of these programming languages, because these are your tools. Like what we have been using to in the past 20, 30 years is Excel to analyze the data. So you have to, in these times, SQL, SQL or Python or R, there are some enterprise tools as well, which are your tools to analyze your data. So you have to first understand the tools. You can't drive a car unless you understand the functionality of the car and how car is driven. So these are your tools to understand data science. Then you have to understand skills like statistics, mathematics. What does a statistical model means? What is a mathematical equation? And we read those courses in either BTech or economics. It's just that you need to see it with the lens of a data scientist, that what additional I need to understand. What is machine learning? Then you move to more evolved skills where you focus on different machine learning algorithms. You focus on algorithms of random forest or support vector machines or logistic regression. And what is the regression? What does it mean? So you have to get that understanding. And then lastly, use those skills in real business problems, in real business challenges. If suppose uh, a hotel company comes to you that I'm expecting a lot of customer attrition, how do I get my customers back? So at that time, you have to see, whatever you have learned and apply it on a real time and understanding how you can solve the problem using a data science, and then use your knowledge of skills and tools and mathematics and data science to solve that problem. So to me, this is a clear-cut roadmap. You speak to your professors in the college. If the courses are missing, get the courses introduced. Speak to your professors, get some external faculty which can give a perspective on real use cases. Try to get internship if you have already covered these things. So it's a combination of all of these things, but practical knowledge, getting an experience from a practitioner is the most important thing to make you a complete data scientist. And of course, then find a job in a data science company. That would be really the end goal. If you don't work on real problems and work on that for few years or few months, whatever this period, then you can't become a data scientist. So I hope I've been able to answer your question, Rahul, and I'm sure it would have helped other people as well. I'm sure they would have had a similar kind of a question. Let's move on to the next question.
Hi, sir. My name is Krish. I'm
Yeah,
still a
Krish.
school. I'm still in school. I just graduated
I think
11th
we
grade.
have a question from
Yeah. Go ahead, Krish.
Yeah. So I was wondering if it's still possible for me to. I wanted some experience in the field, and I wanted to know if it's still possible at my stage, or what kind of requirements are there, and if I can achieve them.
Sure. No, my view is that you don't need to be an engineer or a graduate to become a data science. What you need is the passion to solve problems. Of course, see, mathematics required is not more than the level of mathematics which is required from a data science perspective is not more than +2 level or more than 12th class level, because anyway you are covering statistics, you cover vectors, even in advanced while of course physics would cover a lot of such subjects of laws of motion and kinematics and everything, but you do cover coordinate geometry, you cover vectors, you cover statistics. There are enough concepts of mathematics which are covered in the school which can be easily utilized to understand data science. Of course, one will have to put in a little bit more effort, because in a graduation, some BTech courses, I know some economics courses already cover data science subjects. But if you feel passionate about it, in the long run, you want to make a career in the data science, I don't see any challenge. Of course, you'll have to work a little more than the graduates, people who are already covering those courses as part of their curriculum. But there is no age and limit to it. And I know a lot of schools have already started to cover, for instance, my son studies in class 11th, and I've seen, did Python and some of those things which are being already covered in the school. So definitely, if you feel passionate about it, Krish, to me, it's perfectly fine. Learn it and try to go after it. I hope it answered your question, Krish.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Just be passionate about it. If you're passionate about data science, nobody can stop you. Any other question? Any questions which are there in the window, Anju?
Yes, Naveen, we have a few questions here. Um,
Okay, let me
so,
just.
Nikhil Dhubar wants to know, is it like recommended
I
to
can
get
read the
into data
question.
science right after? You can? Yeah, please.
Yeah. Is it recommended to get into data science right after undergraduate college, or is it recommended to get master's degree first, maybe from a foreign, and then get into data science roles? I'm currently third year student at DTU. So, Nikhil, I don't think you need a master's for it. Chris just asked a question. If he's just getting into a college after 12th, he can do that as well. So, ideal is if you're undergraduate or you're getting into a college, that's the right time to start the data science. Most of the people we recruit in our company are fresh pass outs, fresh graduates. We don't typically go for MS or MTech or postgraduate. And foreign degree or Indian degree, I can't comment much on that, but I know that there are some very good foreign university courses. India also has very good courses. So that is a prerogative of a person, but I don't see any issue in undergraduates or people who are just getting into the college to go through the program, and you surely don't need post-graduation for that. So now I will take Abhishek's question. Abhishek Bhardwaj, should I do the course offered by a reputed institute like I am in data science, or should I learn by myself through web? Because there is a cost involved in doing the professional course. Okay, very good question. Some universities do offer data science course. Obviously, university, college, or IM, you would get to work with your peers. You will learn with your peers. So definitely it adds value. I'm not saying that if you learn independently through a web and you will get to understand everything, there's definitely a value addition in a college. I don't subscribe to the thought that you can learn everything on the web. But having said this, you can look at some online programs and carefully choose the program, because a lot of the programs which are being offered currently in the market are very, very theoretical in nature. And I'm not being critical to any university or IIMs or any courses, just that uh, the educators have not been exposed to the practical experience of data science. They're not actually the practitioners, so they would equip you with the tools, they will equip you with the mathematics of Python and all of that stuff, but when it comes to the practical uses, there is a very limited understanding of this training institutes or online courses or universities. So I would strongly recommend get into a company, make a case for yourself to join a company which is in data science. When you get that practical experience, that's when you really can understand what it is. I hope I answered your question, Abhishek. I'll take the next question of Vinayak. Is mathematics of ML asked in the interviews? Sometimes. So that's a very good question. Uh, so I would surely suggest that you need to understand the statistics behind it. See, right now, a lot of packages are ready-made. It's available. What is important is to understand the mathematics behind it. To start with, it's important that you understand what segmentation means, what a classification tree is, and even before that, the basics of vectors which is taught in the class 11th and a lot of engineering colleges and all. If you don't understand those things, or coordinate geometry or uh, geometry as such, so mathematics behind ML is sometimes asked in the interviews. Depends on the interviewer. Uh, but as far as I am concerned, my view is that you should definitely understand the mathematics behind machine learning. Behind, then you will never fail. While you may have ready-made codes and everything available with you and you can work on it, but if you understand the mathematics behind it, it's definitely advisable. Any other question? Oh yeah, I have lots of other questions. Subi Singh, how can one justify the domain change that is from one engineering discipline to data science? Oh, I don't know, Subi, what you're feeling is that we take mechanical engineers, chemical engineers, MSc in chemistry, we go to IITs, Pilanis, DTUs, a lot of these colleges, NITs we recruit from. So we are not bothered about the discipline. I mean, of course, sometimes computer science graduates, IT graduates may have an edge of getting that extra knowledge on the Python or coding skills, but a lot of best data scientists we have in the companies are not necessarily a person from any particular discipline. So it doesn't matter, discipline doesn't matter. You need to be passionate about data science, you need to be passionate about solving problems using data. That's what you need, period. Okay, now I will take question of Sumedha. Hi, I am MTech second semester student at DTU. Do I need to study algos other than ML algos for placements? Uh, See, if you're looking for a placement in machine learning and data science, obviously you need to, brush up your course on algorithms, machine learning algorithms. So, I mean, I don't have a ready-made answer for it, but yeah, you need to prepare for interviews for sure. Next question is from Tarun Kumar. I'm just curious about if we really need to learn statistics at the deep base at, I guess what he means is that at a deep level, because all the models do their work in the background themselves, just getting the basic intro of statistics is enough. Will we require to apply statistics ourselves anywhere in our job field? So I understand in today's time, it's all ready-made, it's all packaged, and it's all available to you. But my suggestion, Tarun, would be to understand the statistics behind it. And I'm a strong believer that you have to understand the fundamentals. Obviously, you don't need to go to the nth level of statistics, given that life has become a lot simpler by getting the pre-ready-made, pre-cooked kind of algorithms. But my recommendation would be to surely understand the mathematics and statistics. But that has been my approach, but a lot of people may feel otherwise. I think those are the questions. I don't see any other questions. Anju, if you see any other questions, those are the only questions I see. But you're all unmuted. Please feel free to ask some questions. We still have about 15 minutes or so to go. So feel free to ask any other question which you may have. I think no other questions. Friends, thank you so much for attending this session and hearing me out. And it's been a pleasure interacting with you. I was very happy sharing my views with students, and I see some people MTech,
I think,
BTech.
Naveen, we have a question from Vinayak Sarwan.
Okay, go ahead, Vinayak. You just asked him just at the right time before I was about to. Go ahead, Vinayak.
Sir, I just wanted to ask, as I am doing BTech from DTU, I have no past from statistics, so how can I learn stats and or from where I can learn?
Okay. So Vinayak, by the way, I'm from your college too. So I'm a 92 pass
Yes,
out of
sir, I know.
Delhi College of Engineering. It used to be called Delhi College of Engineering, and then it got, of course, it became DTU. So, statistics is not at a level, as I said, even if you understand the school level statistics well, of course, there are there are people in our company who are postgraduates in statistics and masters and bachelors in statistics. So it's not at a level that you can't understand as an engineer. So you need the basics of statistics. You need to understand what regression means and how to understand the errors. There are some distribution curves you need. So it's not at a level where you are going to sort of not get it. So there are books available, there are courses available. For instance, we also run a course where we will cover a module on statistics. So that module is just going to be purely on statistics, on probabilities and distributions, and what are the tests, how do you test the hypothesis. So it's not very difficult to get those skills. I hope I was able to answer your question, Vinayak.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions? I'll wait for 2-3 more minutes before I share my concluding remarks for any other questions.
I would request all of you to please feel free to ask questions.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. My name is Tarun Kumar. I am from video, third year electrical engineering. Sir,
Okay.
I want to ask if after learning all the algorithms and anything, then can we try models on Kaggle? And if we can't get internship right now in this field, practicing models on Kaggle is enough, sir.
So it is helpful to an extent, but as I said, it won't give you the practical knowledge of business. So there are some real data sets which are available on Kaggle, or almost real. I mean, it can't be real because of clients' confidential information, but there is some information which is available on Kaggle, and there are data sets available. You can get some idea about it. You get some sort of a practice as well. But having said this, that practical knowledge nobody can beat. So you have to get into an internship or some sort of real exposure along with the practitioners solving practical business problems, real world problems. So that is extremely important. So it can't be replaced. But having said this, you can get to practice some concepts using data from Kaggle. Kaggle.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Tarun. Any other questions? Feel free to ask questions, and I see a lot of people from my college, so that's great to know. I'll probably visit DTU one of these days, and just it's been so interesting. Any other questions? Any questions from students who are getting into college and just freshly passed out from their 12th standard? Any questions from that group? Questions from people who are from a non-engineering background? Any questions? I got a question that I'm a CA, can I become a data scientist? Of course you can. I'm a BCom honors graduate, can I become a data scientist? Of course you can. As long as you are passionate about data and understanding data, analyzing data, and solving a business problem, then why not? We have a BCom graduate in our company, and she has been with the company for the last 8-10 years, and she's a great data scientist. So it's just what matters to you, what is important to you, and what you feel happy about doing is what is important. And data science, AI has lots of job openings, and typically the salary levels are also higher as compared to software jobs or other kinds of jobs. So some people jump into it because it offers me a good career, offers me a good money. So that is fine, which is a given. To me, that is a byproduct. But the initial years, the idea should be to understand data science, to understand, gain business knowledge, gain a domain knowledge as well. If you're working with a aviation company, understand how an airline works, what problems they face, how can I use data to solve those problems. So that should be the focus. Money will automatically happen, salary will automatically happen. That's a byproduct. First, try to get the basics of data science, try to understand what data science means, try to understand how, whether this is your calling or not. Some people get into data science just because it offers me good salary, good money, it's a fancy job title, but that should not be the case. What is important is whether you like it or not, whether you like solving problems, whether this is something which is of interest to you or not. That is the most important criteria. Whether you are passing out from 12th, getting into college, BTech, BCom, this is a secondary thing. Any other questions before? I'll just wait for 30 more seconds to hear any other questions, then I will share my parting thoughts.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Yash.
I have a question like to be an ML or DL engineer, like the one who mostly deal with models, do we need a PhD degree? Like if you see the job description of mainly tech giants, they mention that you need a PhD degree.
No, no, no.
So,
I don't think so, Yash, because there was a question whether I need an MTech or not. No, basic undergraduation is good enough. While there are some jobs, which requires very high end level of innovation or academic institutes or some research which is happening in the top universities and all, that's where the PhD would be helpful for sure. But when it comes to corporate career and jobs, mostly can be done by undergraduates. I know that some companies do have chief data scientists who are PhDs and those. There are some technical roles, but they're very few. But my view is that graduation is more than enough. I mean, there are people who want to make their career in academics and teaching data science at university, then obviously PhD is required because most of the IITs or universities or engineering college or even economics or any PhD or any college for that matter, they ask for a PhD as a basic level of education for their lecturership or being a professor. So I don't think that's a requirement at all.
okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Yash, for asking that question. Any other question?
I had a question.
Go ahead, Ronit.
Okay, so sir, I am currently in my first year and I'm pursuing my BTech in Electronics and Communication from DTU, your college. So I had a question, sir. What's the difference between data science and data analytics? Are they like the same term, or do they mean do they have different meanings?
These are same terms to me: machine learning engineer, data scientist, data analyst. See, data analysts earlier were used for people who were doing MIS, business intelligence. So data science is a more fancy word, and in a stricter sense there is a difference, because analyst is typically a business analyst or data analyst. They would create certain reports, perform certain analysis. They may not use machine learning techniques or data science techniques. But having said this, right now it is being used interchangeably. But even when we post position, data analyst and data scientist is a different job. But when you say data analytics and data scientist, to me that is the same thing.
Oh,
Right, Ronit?
okay, sir.
I hope I
Thank you.
answered your question.
Yes, yes, you
Thanks
got
for
me.
asking that question, Ronit.
You're welcome, sir.
Any other question? I'm very happy. It's been a very interactive session, and I sort of, when I was talking to Anju, I didn't want it to be a monologue. I wanted it to be a interactive session, and that's what it's very good. Any other questions? I don't see any questions in the question box as well. I guess it's time to say goodbye. Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for your interest in understanding what data science is, what it means as a career. I have been able to share my views. I have been in the industry for the last more than 25 years. I have led data science teams. Currently, I'm also leading a lot of data science engagements for Transorg Analytics. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to many more such sessions with you, because I enjoy interacting with students and pass outs. And it's been a wonderful time. Thank you so much. I'll hand it over to you, Anju. Thank you so much for coordinating the call.
Thanks, Naveen, and thank you everybody for joining us today. If you still have some questions unanswered, you can please connect with me at anju@transorg.com.